This is your Los Angeles International Airport. Municipally owned and operated for the citizens of this city, it's one of the world's busiest airports. Enjoying the natural advantages of the unobstructed Los Angeles basin as it levels toward the sea and the consistent gentle trade winds off the Pacific, your airport is the hub for air transportation and the center of a vast industrial development. Its importance to the average citizen goes far beyond his own possible use of it. For just as the wise development of a harbor brought untold wealth in the form of commerce, trade, manufacturing, and employment, so Los Angeles International Airport continues the expansion of that trade into the air raid. To many of us, the airport means a fascinating panorama where we take the family for a Sunday drive, there to watch the giant airliners come and go. The show is continuous, 24 hours round the clock. From the flight deck, we watch the people and the products of Los Angeles, whether emissaries of business or seekers of recreation become airborne. We know that our people and products are but a few hours from any city in the nation, but a day or two from any continent of the world. You can have breakfast at the airport Friday and dinner at a sidewalk cafe in Paris Saturday. The route which early California settlers painfully traveled from the Midwest to the coast in 150 days by covered wagon is now a matter of a non-stop flight between breakfast and lunch. The future of Los Angeles aviation can best be read in the eyes of youngsters who visit their international airport. The air's to them, for they have no memory of the earthbound days. Many thousands of children visit the airport on conducted tours each year. They come from every section of the city and the state. This is their future. From their ranks will come tomorrow's stewardesses, mechanics, pilots, engineers, and craftsmen. Now, more than the entire population of Los Angeles uses the airport annually. Every minute, 5 passengers are arriving or departing. The potential volume has scarcely been tapped, for Los Angeles is the fastest growing metropolitan area in the world. International Airport now handles the 3rd greatest airmail tonnage in the country. Only Chicago and New York exceed us. Los Angeles Airways, which pioneered airmail and freight helicopter service, is now flying passengers to and from the airport via helicopter. Air freight and air express shipments total 64 million pounds yearly. As the fastest growing segment of air transportation, freight will reach 120 million pounds by 1960. This tremendous volume of passenger, mail, and freight is accommodated by more than 312 daily airline schedules. All this means extremely heavy air traffic. For in addition, there are approximately 500 plane movements by military, business, and private flyers each day. This year, a plane is either landing or taking off every 2 minutes of the day or night at Los Angeles International Airport. To handle the ever-increasing traffic load, the airlines must have ground crews which work with clock-like precision to get the planes on and off the ground quickly and safely. It takes 20 persons on the ground to get one plane ready for flight. As soon as a plane reaches the terminal, trained ground personnel take over. Baggage is quickly unloaded and taken by tugs to the terminal buildings. Baggage for the next flight is driven to the plane's conveyor belt where it moves into the cargo hold. Elsewhere, a thirsty giant receives its fuel load, 4,000 gallons for a New York flight, enough to fill the tanks of 300 automobiles. While on another ramp, stewardesses complete their flight from Honolulu. At the next gate, passengers check in for their flight to Seattle. In the meantime, Southwest Airways pilots confirm their flight plan with operations. They are bound for San Francisco with intermediate stops at Oxnard, Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, Monterey, and San Jose, bringing air travel to the front door of outlying communities. Here a transcontinental plane revs its 4 engines. Each engine develops nearly twice as much horsepower as a diesel freight locomotive, then tests its ailerons like a giant bird flexing its muscles. Next, the transport receives clearance from the control tower to taxi to the end of the runway for by radio telephone, a controller tells a waiting pilot, California Central 556, cleared for takeoff. The radar controller is working the precision radar landing aids. In front of him are the radar scopes which examine only that portion of the sky which is lined up with the runway. For 30 miles in all directions, he can determine the exact position of planes. This is accomplished through images picked up by the Area Search Radar Antenna. CAA's Airway Communication Station is one of some 400 centers along the nation's airways. Primary purpose is two-way radio communication with pilots as they fly the Interstate Airways network. Teletype circuits crisscross the country carrying vital air information such as weather, wind conditions, and aircraft movement. From here, too, the civilian flyer receives his pre-flight briefing and files his flight plan. Although the scheduled airlines maintain their own radio networks, these communication stations have receivers tuned to all the frequencies used by civil and military flyers and stand guard constantly to receive and transmit information. Everyone talks about the weather, and these men of the United States Weather Bureau Forecast Center do something about it. They observe local conditions and correlate with weather information received constantly from 12 similar forecast centers in the country. They forecast the weather for Southern California and Arizona, supplying much needed information for the general public as well as the aviation industry. Yes, the pilot is joined by the farmer, the shipper, and Mr. and Mrs. John Q. Public planning an outing in relying on the skills of the observers and forecasters at International Airport. Teamwork keeps this mighty air harbor going and growing. The impact of International Airport reaches every business, for today a city's economic health depends to a considerable degree on its ability to accommodate aircraft safely and efficiently. Every major city has become a port for merchant carriers of the air. Shipments by air mean that many Western businesses can survive and compete on equal terms in the populous cities of the East. Overnight, their products reach the marketplaces of the Atlantic coast and Middle West. You'll find cut flowers, a multi-million-dollar business in itself. Chainsaws for the Canadian lumber trade. California fashions rushed east to fill the demand for outstanding designs. You'll find life-saving medicines, blood plasma, iron lungs coming to and from the airport. During a disaster, the airport may well be the one supply line into the Los Angeles basin. Just as cargo by air affects all of us, so does the prompt forwarding of the mails. Through the airport gateway flows all of Southern California's air mail. By highway mail bus or by helicopter, air mail is brought within reach of every community. And Southern Californians are the heaviest users of air mail per capita in the nation. It's a part of every home. The mother awaiting a letter from her son in the service, or a salesman who needs the fastest possible confirmation of an order from the East, or a manufacturer whose success in winning distant markets lies in high-speed communication with his customers. Before we leave the air transportation story of our municipal airport, how does it derive its name? International. The airport is so designated by the federal government because it has the runways, the necessary land area, and other essentials to handle intercontinental planes. It is a natural port for international air carriers such as Pan American World Airways and its affiliate Compañía Mexicana de Aviación and Transworld Airlines. Pioneering transpolar flights from Europe, Scandinavian Airline System makes Los Angeles its United States terminal. This is the capsule story of the bean field that became a world air terminal in 25 years. As the cornerstone of a vast industrial development, Los Angeles International Airport is unique among major air terminals. It is an important center of airplane manufacture. Planes made by North American Aviation and the El Segundo Division of Douglas Aircraft have played a leading role in the defense of the nation and in establishing the leadership of Los Angeles in aviation. The famed North American Sabre jets and Super Sabre jets call International Airport home. So do many of the Navy's first-line aircraft built by Douglas. Here the Sky Knight is readied for a production test flight. The flight engineer will record all of the data as the pilot puts the plane through its aerial tests over the Pacific Ocean, far from the city's populated areas. These North American workers represent some of the 70,000 persons who are employed by 110 industries on and adjacent to the airport. Vital to the community is the weekly payroll of $6 to $7 million, which spreads to each corner of the city and county. Aircraft manufacturers also spend millions of dollars with large and small business firms for goods and services needed to build airplanes. The butcher, the baker, and every other business and profession receives its share of the dollars generated by international airports industries. Aircraft manufacture ranks first in our city's economy. Many other businesses are here because of the closeness to fast shipping and communication. It all adds up to jobs for today and job opportunities for our youth. The airport pays its own way and brings to Los Angeles liberal dividends in the form of millions of dollars brought into our city each week through payrolls and purchases. Aviation's horizons are unlimited. Within a half century from the flimsy contraption of the Wright brothers, which flew for 12 seconds in 1903, to streaking jets which travel faster than the speed of sound, the airplane has affected all of us. Our citizen-owned airport since 1928 has grown from a single flight strip way out in the country into a bustling air gateway and the core of our greatest revenue-producing industry. The airplane of tomorrow is on the drawing board. The blueprint for a greater Los Angeles International Airport is ready to accommodate these air fleets of the future. Tomorrow's International Airport will utilize 3,000 acres already acquired by the city for airport expansion. It will handle with ease and safety 3 times the present volume of air commerce. Maintain Los Angeles as the world center of aircraft manufacture and ensure an air harbor worthy of this great city for generations to come.